Hello, everyone. I am here with Miss Liz, and I am Vonda, and we are the Matriarchs of Fandom. It's just us tonight. Lady Gray has some technical issues, so we're gonna go ahead and just throw it in there tonight. Today's episode is kind of be on part two of what we did about 2 weeks ago. We were talking about 70, 80 TV shows, 70 TV shows. TV shows from my childhood. I was the only little one, but I remember a lot of these shows. And, Miss Liz was a
teenager.
And definitely remember some
teenager of high school.
There you go. So, we're going to go through probably the next couple of months. We're going to, do 70s, 80s, 90s, just so all three of us can kind of have a feel of what we watch as a young child or as a teenager. And just want to know if y'all watch any of these shows also. The first show that I'm going to talk about, I'm in a different setup now, so I apologize if I got to go back and forth while I'm looking at my notes. But is Mork and Mindy. Now, hello, Taku Cat. Now, this show came out in 1978 and ran for 4 seasons with a total of 95 episodes. And, it's pretty much Robin Williams. That was his show. He was an alien. He came down from, you remember the planet, Miss Liz, that he came from? Orc. There you go. And, he had to kind of make friends. There you go. They developed a relationship. They got married. They had a kid, which was Jonathan Winters. For me, this is the first time I really thought of Robin Williams. I don't know if he did anything before then, but Mork and Mindy was a really big show that I watched. Don't really rewatch it now that I'm older, but I really have really fond memories of watching the show. It was a comedy. I laughed. It was fun. So I'm going to go to Miss Liz, who definitely remember this show because in 76, I was just, 4. She was a teenager. So I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about this TV show and what she remembers. Miss Liz?
Nano. Nano. That's how Mark from Mark always greeted everybody. He went nano. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan Winters was in the last 2 seasons or last season. He played their kid. He came down. He ended up Pamela Dahmer. They ended up being roommates together, and and we had Exodore, the guy that used to run around. He was what do you call it? He was a religious cult leader, basically. And
he was their neighbor, right?
Yeah, he was like a neighbor. They ended up being friends, and he was definitely off-wall type character. And I always liked him because he was hilarious. And he ran around in that white outfit, right? Cloaks outfit. And he really didn't have much of a following for his religious ideas. He was pretty much a failed guy, but he was hilariously funny. And him and Mork hit it off right away because they were weird characters. But just the whole show series was Mork learning how to become a human, basically, and making his reports to Orson.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
I know.
He liked to sit on the couch on his head.
The who?
He liked to. Mork liked to sit on the couch with his head down.
Okay.
He
Okay.
had his feet
Now,
up in the air and he liked to sit on the couch with his head in the couch. It took
see,
him
I
a while to
don't
get
remember the
used to
show like
sitting it
that.
like normal, but when he first got there, he would always sit in the couch with his head, with his feet up in the air. It was really weird.
But a good show. And Marky Mark actually put up there that when the son, Jonathan Winter's character came in, of course, he, Mark, laid an egg. And he
Yep.
was in this big egg. And I remember when he, so to speak, hatched, he was like a, what, 60-year-old man, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, they age differently. They
Mm-hmm.
start out old and they age down to like kid size because Orson was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
the head guy,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Yeah,
Okay.
it
Okay.
was an interesting series.
Cute. Now, if you had a chance to rewatch it now, would you?
I probably would because I like Robin Williams.
Okay.
And remember you made a mention you didn't know what he did before that. He was a stand-up comedian.
Okay. Okay. That's right. That's right.
And after he did work, he did stand up again before he did all the movies he did.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was
Okay.
always a stand up comedian from get go. And
Funny guy.
depending on which kind of ones he did, because he had GPG stand up comedian stuff, and then he would do R and above. So he definitely had to be over 21
Oh, and Mark said that he was on Saturday Night Live. I didn't watch Saturday Night Live, so I didn't know too
I
much about
did.
it. I was big
When
in
my
the
mom let me stay up, I watched it. And then when VCRs came out, then I would tape it and watch it later because it
Oh
was on
God.
so late. But when I was younger, the only time I got to watch it is Saturday Night Live is when my parents actually let me stay up that late because it was on late.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, looks like the next show that I am going to do is Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman came out in 1976 and ran for three seasons. Ended up being about 59 episodes, and you got Diana. There you go. Linda Carter, which my husband is in love with Linda Carter,
Most of
and
the guys were.
yes, yes. And you have Lau Ranger, Steve, Trevor. We have this on DVD. My husband's actually, I think, just recently watched it. Enjoy the show. I just think fond memories of this. Now, the only thing that I have to say that I always felt sad about is I want to say maybe in 2 or 3 episodes when she was in the swim outfit. I would like to see it more because, I like swimming, I like water. But, being a strong woman, being, from the island, coming to the United States, battling the Nazis, I thought was a really, really good show. I kind of say she's kind of my Wonder Woman. Gail, I thought did a really good job. So I guess for me, they're kind of 1 and 2, but Wonder Woman was really big when she turned around and you saw the
Yep.
power when she changed. I thought it was really, really cool.
And she drove around in an invisible airplane.
Yes. Go ahead, Miss Liz. Go ahead, go on. Tell me about Wonder Woman.
Well, like I said, she went around in an invisible airplane. She had that golden rope that would make everybody tell the truth. She was a rather good-looking young lady, and you definitely didn't want to be on her bad side. And she was basically the guy's version of Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, us girls were all going gaga over Superman, and all the guys were going gaga over Wonder Woman. So, and that's about all I really remember of her. I just remember her being like a superhero,
Hmm.
and she always got, you know, she
Got her
was the
bad guy.
superwoman, and she always won in the end. That kind of
Of
thing,
course. Of course.
like Superman
Yes. Our
or
heroes.
Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. She's definitely was our hero. I haven't seen this series in a while. One day I'll just probably go ahead and just pop it in just to go ahead and watch it because I was a really big fan of Wonder Woman.
No, I haven't seen it in years, but I did think they did a really good job with the first movie. The
Hmm.
Wonder Woman movie was really good. I think they
Yes.
did a really good job. But the second movie was they should have picked a better writer for that
True.
one.
True. True. Simon says, or Gaga over Batman. Batman was cool.
I
So,
liked Robin.
yeah. Yeah. Robin's okay. Batman's cooler. All
Yeah,
right.
no,
Next.
Robin was more my age group, so that's why I
True.
probably.
True. True. I like adult, strong, powerful men. All right. The next show I'm going to do came out in 1977. It ran for 5 seasons, 80 episodes. And one of his very famous saying was, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm becoming, but I know one thing for sure. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. That
Yeah.
is the Incredible Hulk. Miss
Bill
Liz,
Bixby.
tell us about this show.
Bill Bixby.
Yes.
I liked Bill Bixby. I kind of liked him. I started watching him when he was Eddie in the Courtship of Mr. Eddie's father back then, and then he went on to being the Incredible Hulk. And I think he did one other TV series that didn't last very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bill Bixby was a really good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to meet him. I did get to meet Lou Ferrigno though, but I never got to meet Bill Bixby, which I would have liked to. So,
See.
but yes, we watched this show religiously every week.
Mm-hmm. And I think we also have this on DVD. I think my
I
husband
don't.
recently
I haven't
watched
seen it in
it.
years.
Well, the premise of this show was, I think he was a scientist, if I recall,
Yep.
and he got the gamma rays,
Yep.
and I think the
You
intro pretty
transformed,
much
and you
talks
don't
about
want to know me when I'm
it.
angry.
Yeah, and he was kind of going around, the U.S. trying to. I mean, he ended up helping people, but of course, he was trying to fix the issue of him becoming Hulk. So,
Yeah.
if I recall, I think the last episode, I kind of feel like he fell out of like a helicopter or something, and I believe died.
I have no
Um,
idea.
I vaguely remember that. Hello, Calibus. How you doing? I want to say that's what happened with this one. I probably should have looked this one up when it
I don't
comes to.
know because I don't remember. But
He
yeah,
just went around helping people. And of course, he's always been, people was trying to hunt him down. I think the one government person, a lot of shows
yep.
like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the theme song that Taco Cat was saying, yeah, and Rob, yes. Okay. I thought I was right.
Well,
I thought I was right.
like I
So
said,
go ahead, baby.
I really kind of got attached to Bill Bixby when he was in Courtship of Mr. Eddie's father,
Oh,
which was a sitcom basically, and it was a very cute show because he was
okay.
always trying to get. They were always trying to hook him up with a lady.
Mm, okay. And it looks like Mark Mart said he did Elvis movies. I guess I had
Oh,
to.
he did an Elvis movie?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But would I rewatch The Incredible Hulk today? No, not really. But I do remember watching it as a young child. All right, next show I'm going to mention is Charlie's Angels. It came out in 1976. It ran for 5 seasons. It ended up later on in the years, which I thought I wrote the years down, but it ended up being 3 movies. This is the original ladies.
Yep.
And, they worked for Charlie. They were kind of investigated. And they never saw Charlie. He was always in the little white speaker box on the table. But they would get assignments and go out and pretty much save the day.
Yep.
I enjoyed the movies. Even that last one that came out a couple of years ago, I didn't think it was too bad.
Oh yeah,
What do you?
I saw all the movies with Drew Barrymore and whatnot. I thought they were really good.
Oh,
And yes, I really like this TV series. It was kind of like watching Man from Uncle's, but women,
yeah,
that kind of
which
thing.
is good. I mean, back in the 70s, it was really nice seeing women in control of being in the lead. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
yes, Charlie was their boss, but basically they kicked butt, and
Oh, they always did. They always
yes.
kicked butt. And yes, they were good looking young ladies, and
Mhm.
that's why the guys liked them. But I liked the fact that they were like Men from Uncle super agents and
Yeah,
went out
smart,
there and
beautiful.
solve problems and didn't have to worry about the guys coming to save the beautiful ladies, that kind of thing.
Yes, true, true. Thank goodness, thank goodness.
Yeah,
All right.
they
Another
kicked a
show that I'm
lot
going
of
to
butt.
mention. Good, good. Some men needs to be, they need to have their butt kicked. Next show is Laverne and Shirley. It came out in 1978. It did 8 seasons. And you got Penny Marshall
Mhm.
as Laverne and Cindy Williams as Shirley. I think they worked in a factory. There's a picture. They had two
Yes,
friends,
Mazel. Awesome.
and and they just it was a comedy. It was a comedy. What did you like about Laverne and Shirley, Miss Liz?
Well, I love the opening song, Shamil, Shamazel, Hasa Pepper, Porperape, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always funny. And I was never really fond of the two young men that were their neighbors that
Yeah.
used to be their ex boyfriends or whatever. Uh, they could be a really annoying, but as far as and they were always getting into trouble, always finding some way of you know and they went to the one of the episodes I remember most is they went to some they crashed some party and they were all wearing togas, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
Lenny and Squiggy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it, Lenny and Squiggy. Uh, but yeah,
True.
that remember that
Agree.
episode where they went went to this big party that they weren't supposed to go to, and they were all wearing togas, including Lenny and Squiggy. They were all in togas. And I don't remember the exact details of the episode, other than, like I said, they were all wearing togas. And back then, that was the theme party you wanted to go to, was a toga party. It was a big thing back then. I used to have one. I've been to one or two toga parties.
Okay. Okay. Maybe that's a
Well, you got to
70
remember, I
thing.
was in high school, and that was the thing to do.
Okay. I've never heard of a toga party, but okay, Miss Liz. We're
Yeah,
going back in time.
basically you went dressed up as a Roman whatever, either Roman senator or Roman lady or a gladiator or whatever. They went to you went to the parties like regular social party, and you were like being togas and whatnot, and
Okay.
And depending on your social group, is whether you just did food and refreshments, or sometimes they would sneak alcohol.
Of course. Every
I never
party,
did
every
it, but I
teenager.
know some of
Of
the other
course you
guys
did.
did.
Yeah, Miss Liz.
I
Miss
didn't have
Liz.
my first alcohol till I was 19. So
Oh, sure you did, Miss Liz.
honest, I don't
Now,
count a
Mark,
glass of wine my parents give me as but
okay. Don't tell on
yeah,
yourself.
I didn't have my first hard alcohol till I was 19.
Okay. Okay.
I was a good girl.
So we have a couple of comments that were up here at one point about Laverne and Shirley. Mark and Mark mentioned the L that Laverne always
Oh
had
yeah.
on her clothes. So I
I
actually
always
kind of
thought that was really
forgot
cool.
about
I
that.
like that.
That was. I should put a Y on mine because everybody says my name wrong. So Animal House. So I don't know what that comment is. I was not a big fan of Animal House, so I'm sorry. Don't know about Animal House. But anyway, we're gonna go on to our next TV show. This TV show is a black comedy. It came out in 1974 and ran for 6 seasons, and is Jamie Walker, James Amos, an extra role. And I'm talking about Good Times. They were poor people living in a ghetto. I want to say there was a 2 bedroom. There you go. There was 2 bedrooms apartment. The two brothers slept out in the living room. The mom and dad had a room, and the sister had her own room. And it was a comedy. J.J. Evans, Dynamite. Animal House, the toga party. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm sorry. And it was a big show for a lot of black people back then. One of the episodes that I really remember was when Fiona Woods, she was the neighbor, and I was just about to say when Penny, who was Janet Jackson, first entered the show. I want to say that her mother used to beat her, and the neighbor went on ahead and adopted her. And that was a really big episode. I want to say the Iron Board was there. And I guess as when she got in trouble, she put the iron on her. So that was a big episode. Miss Liz, by chance, did you remember Good Times?
I saw a few episodes, but I didn't watch it big time because I've probably watching other things back then.
Okay.
I probably had graduated to watching other things because, by that time I was almost an adult.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's 77, right?
74.
Oh, really? I was
And
still
it
in
was
high
on
school
for
in
6
74.
seasons. We have a couple of comments up there when
74, I was in high school.
oh, James was the man and hated when they killed him off. Yeah, James is the father. He's the man in the middle.
Oh, this one
He
right
kind of
here in
has
the
some
middle?
issues. Yes.
What they do,
Yes.
kill
He
it? They
was
give him a heart attack or something?
I don't remember how he died. I want to say yes. I do believe it might have been a heart attack. He had some issues with the producers and the directors of the show,
Oh,
so
so
they
they
pretty
wrote him
much
out
killed him off.
basically.
So they wrote him off. And Calibus, one of the famous sayings of the show was, um, you know, she used to say it all the time when,
Oh,
the situation was rough, which was a
okay.
lot, but there was a family and it was a really big comedy. So, even though they were poor, a car accident. There you go. That's how
Oh,
he died.
okay.
Even though they were very poor, living in the ghetto, living in this small 2 bedroom apartment, they were a family. So it
Yep.
was a really, really good show. Another show I'm going to mention is Different Strokes. This came out in 1978. This show is about two black kids who go to live with this, there you go,
What do
rich
you mean,
white man.
Willis?
and his daughter and the maid, and they became a family. So
Didn't she move on to being in that other TV series? The one with the red hair. Didn't she go on
um
to doing that other
Facts of
TV series
Life.
with the girls?
Facts of Life.
Yeah, Facts of Life.
Yes, Facts of Life. Yes, yes. I mean, that was
Well, I
also a
recognize
good
her.
show. Good, good. But that is let's see, Tom Arnold
Yep.
Willis, and it made him big. He actually years later, actually, if I recall, sued his parents because they were taking advantage of him when it comes to money, which was kind of
Oh
sad.
yeah, happened a
And
lot back then.
yes, yes, still do now, but lawyers, I would hope, is a little better equipped.
Yeah,
But he used to say, "What you talking about, Willis?" Which Willis was his brother.
yeah. He was not a bad-looking young man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think all of them at this point are deceased, I believe.
Is she gone? The lady in the red hair, she gone too?
I believe so. I believe so. Let's
I
see.
yeah.
So
But
I
I
got a
do
couple
remember
more.
this show. I remember watch.
It was big. It
I
was big
watched
in
this a lot more than
1978.
I watched the other
Oh,
one.
Willis is still alive. Okay, that's good. That's good.
I I was definitely adult because I was in. I just joined the military when that show came out.
Okay, so you do remember it.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Okay, good, good.
Like I said, what do you mean, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis? That's what it is.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
used to
Next,
drive his brother crazy.
well, everybody crazy. That was the whole purpose of the show. All right. Next show, TV show came out in 1974. Lord Ingalls Wilder and his Little House on the Prairie.
Oh,
I was a big fan of this show. I read a few of the books. That's the beginning, the intro to it. And,
Charles.
they just live in a little house and had, situations dealing with living in the town. What do you
Yep.
remember about Little House, Miss Liz?
Oh God, I remember this from the very beginning when they went across country and they built their house and then they went to town and the that lady that was in charge of the uh,
The
mercantile
shop.
shop and the
Yeah, she
hotel
was
and whatnot.
mean. Well, her
And
daughter was mean.
oh my God, she wasn't very much. She was a pain. She was a piece of work too.
Yeah.
She thought she was better than everybody. Her husband was a really nice guy though.
Yes.
He was a really sweet, nice guy. I loved the pastor, the guy that played the pastor. He
Mm-hmm.
was really cool. Charles's friend, who was the lumberjack, he was really nice too. I liked him. And I really liked, the progression of the story as
Yeah.
they all got older and they went to, they learned.
Got older. The
And
daughter,
my God, you
young.
imagine walking to school as far as they walked to school?
Oh.
I mean, in all kinds of weather.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
No.
her sister went blind, and then she ended up marrying a blind guy too.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was very good looking, by the way,
Yeah. Yeah.
and 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 then they adopted Albert.
Oh God, you really remember the show.
Oh yeah, I had a crush on Albert when I was, yeah, I liked Albert. It was sad what happened to him though.
Oh.
Yeah, he died in the
Oh.
show eventually. He got
Oh. Okay.
sick or something, and I don't remember exactly. I just know that they had him for years. Then he went to city or something. He caught something, and then he died. I don't know whether it was cholera or something like that.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. And then Charles had to go all over the country to find work because they had a big drought, which pretty much did the farm in. And yeah, I mean, they went through a lot.
Yeah.
I know that the show went off script from the books a lot.
Polio. Okay.
Polio, okay.
Okay.
And yeah, they went, but because the books only covered a certain period. And then
True.
when they expanded the show and it went longer, they had to come up with,
Other
more
ideas.
more storyline and whatnot. And and that's pretty much that's how Charles, Michael Landon really became a big star. I mean, he was in Bonanza, but he was just a second kind of, you know,
Into this one. You
yeah,
know,
the
for this
Cartwrights.
book, for me, was required one of the books that I chose for required reading.
Oh,
So, I read them, and I don't know how many of these books I read, but I thought it was a good story. And I'm gonna be honest, a few times I've seen myself turning to it and watching some of the old episodes. I don't think I will watch like, all of the seasons and look
no,
like,
I only like the really
again, but
early
certain
seasons.
episodes, why not?
Yeah, I like the really early seasons better. You know, the later seasons, once they became adults and went off to do things, I kind of lost interest, even though I watched it. But my favorites are all back when they were, in Walnut Grove, and they had to deal with their neighbors and the teacher and the snooty store lady
Yeah,
and whatnot. Those were
early in the
always
71.
those were fun episodes.
So the first few
And
seasons.
but yeah,
Okay, okay. Let's see. And I think I have two more I'm going to do. This show was from Miss Lady Gray that she enjoyed, and it was called In Search of, which was a mysterious phenomenon, and it was hosted by Leonard Nimoy. There it
yeah,
is. Now, when I
love this
looked up
series.
this, Rod Sterling was supposed to do this show,
Yep.
and he's pretty much the face of the Twilight Zone, which I loved
Oh
and
yeah.
have on Blu-ray, by the way. And Leonard Nimoy picked up and started, kind of being the host of it.
You learn
Mitch
a lot.
Dinklage did it in 2018, which he was the director that was in the show X-Files.
Hmm.
And Zachary from Star Trek actually also did it. No, he did it in 2018. Mitch did it in 2002. So this show has kind of been on
Uh-huh.
three separate times. Do you remember this show? And tell us about it.
Oh, I watched it because Leonard Nimoy was doing it. That was the whole reason I watched it was because of Leonard Nimoy. But I learned a lot. Oh my God, they really were quite informative, and they did facts. It wasn't fantasy; it was facts, and
Mm,
you learned a lot. You know, and and of course anything with Leonard Nimoy, and I was gonna watch it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Really good guy. Of course, we love him from Star Trek. I remember when they showed these in school in Nova. Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I'm only going to do one more show. This show came out in 1979. It ran for 7 seasons. I am talking about the good old boys, the Dukes of Hazards. Now, being a black person, yes, I was a fan of Dukes of Hazard. Now, I don't know how I did not put the General Lee into my brain when I watched the show, but watching it and talking about Boss Hogg, Bo Duke, Luke
Yep.
Duke, it was a blast. I've
And,
probably
and
seen
her
it
short
almost
shorts. Oh
ever.
my God,
Daisy
the short
Dukes,
shorts.
you know. Now, I would not watch the show now as an adult.
Nope.
However, back in 1979, I did. And
I love the car.
yes, the car was a Dodge Charger.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter where you go, if you see this red car with the '01 on it, you know it's from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yep.
Miss Liz, do you have any last words to talk about the Dukes of Hazzard before we end the show?
That's it. I remember the guys. I remember Boss Hogg, who was a piece of work. But the main thing I loved about that show was the car. That was the reason I watched that show. It was the car.
Did it when they bring the other Dukes in? Yeah, the cousin came. Me either. I love that show.
Oh yeah, Daisy in those short shorts. Oh my God, she might as well not even been wearing shorts as short as those shorts were.
I can only assume she's the reason why those shorts were called Daisy Dukes. Because they were short. And I think there's been some songs about it. So, we all watched it, guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't watch it now, but I definitely did in 79 and in the early 80s. I'm not going to lie.
And then of course, we always had Love Boat.
Yes. I love the Love Boat. Actually, I think we did the Love Boat before.
Oh, did we?
Love Boat. Well, I still have my notes on it. Love Boat came out in 1976 and ran on for 10 seasons. It came on Saturday nights. It was the Love Boat that used to come on first, and then after that, Fantasy Island. So
I always watch both of them.
Yes.
And my favorite character, of course, was Gopher.
I don't know who I like more than the other.
I like Gopher and I like the Doc. I like Gopher and the Doc.
I would say I like the Dog. And I do believe they still now, I think they're on Royal Princess cruise ships. They have like a Love Boat theme where they come in and the people from the show will be on the boat and stuff as like an ambassador. So I think that's really cool. All right, everyone. I do want to thank you for joining the show tonight. Me and Miss Liz, we talked 70s. She definitely told us a few things about her childhood and being a young teenager. Some we believe, some we don't believe about the, little tipsy there drinking when she was 19. But if you like the show, please please subscribe. Isaac. Oh, you know what, Calibus? You're right. I did like
Isaac, the bartender.
The bartender. Yes.
The bartender. He was cool.
Actually, I would say I think he was probably my favorite character, come to think of it. Isaac and the captain.
Stubing.
Yes. But I appreciate everyone listening to us today. Just talk about some of our shows from 1970s. Later on, we're going to start doing 80s. We're going to do 90s. Now, 80s for me, of course, I was kind of watching TV on my own. Back in the 70s, I kind of had to watch whatever my parents watched. But in the 80s, we did have 2 TVs. And I was able to sneak away sometimes and watch that. So I can't wait till we do the 80s. I do want to thank Ms. Liz for joining me tonight. We definitely appreciate her and her input. Miss Lady Gray, hopefully we'll be able to see you in 2 weeks when we start it. And I just want to say good night. Anything else for you, Miss Liz? All right, y'all. I guess we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Bye.